far we looked at greatest common factor, and we looked at difference of squares. Right now we're going to look at factoring by sum and product. So the factoring by sum and product, I need to have a trinomial, a 3-term, to be able to do the factoring by sum and product. Okay? The method is called sum and product. And there's a reason why it's called the sum and product. So if you look at the trinomial, I have A is always 1 in this case. Okay? B is whatever the number is, C is whatever the number is. But in this case, the case that we are learning for this course specifically, A is always going to have to be 1 for me to be able to do that. Okay? If A is not 1, I cannot factor by sum and product. I'll show you a different way, but that's not covered in the grade 11 C. You don't have to listen to me if you don't want to listen to me. You can listen to me if you want to listen to me. But I will not test you on when A is not equal to 1. Clear? So, in this case, A is equal to 1. How can I factor this? So to factor this, you're going to look at your B and your C. So your B is 4, C is negative 2, right? Negative 12. Now, I have to look for 2 numbers that, what does the sum mean? Add. Okay, and what does product mean? Multiply. Good. So I'm looking for 2 numbers that product multiply to C, and they add, so their sum is 4. Okay? So here's what we're looking for. I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add to 4. Okay? So give me what multiplies to negative 12. What multiplies to negative 12?
We can find I will,
Yeah. Give me the different. Okay, so
1 and 12.
1, 12,
2, 3.
2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 6.
2, 6, sorry. 2, 6.
Yeah.
3, 4.
2, 6.
And
3,
also
4.
They can be differences sign.
So one of them has to be negative,
Yeah.
right?
So
One of them has to be negative, so it multiplies to a negative. Now, you see that green sheet that I've also given you? So that's going to help you decide which one's going to be negative, which one's going to be positive. Can you use this on a test? Absolutely you can. Okay?
Because the sum is positive.
Because the sum is positive, that means the bigger number has to be positive. Okay? But this helps you if you need it. Okay? So, if B is positive and C is negative. So I'm looking at if B is positive and C is negative. So if I look at this table here, if B is positive and C is negative, that means my large number has to be positive and my small number has to be negative. Okay? Which should make sense. Okay? If my large number is positive, I'm going to end up with a positive integer. Okay? So, that means my large number is positive, my small number is negative. So let's look. Which one of these factors, when I add them, is going to give me 4? So the first one is going to give me 11. Second one's going to give me 4. Third one's going to give me 1. So you see that the 2 factors that are going to multiply to negative 12 and add to 4 are negative 2 and 6. Okay? Once I find my 2 factors, then it's easy. The process is just simply writing 2 brackets. First term, in the first spot you put the x, and then in the second spot you're going to put your 2 factors. So it's going to be negative 2 plus 6. Doesn't matter which one goes first, no, as long as you stick with the sign. And if you know, you don't have to list this for me. You see that table? You don't have to list it for me if you know what your answer is. If you already know that's going to be like negative 2 and 6, you can write it right away. Okay? This is a process for the people who like to see things visually. This is what we're doing. Does that make sense? So let's do a couple more examples. Let's do B. X squared minus 7x minus 8 looking for two numbers that multiply to, what does it multiply to?
Which one?
I'm doing B.
This one. Should be multiplied now. 18.
Negative 18 and add to negative 7. So what multiplies to negative 18? And let's look at this. Both B and C are negative. So both B and C are negative. That means my large one is going to be negative and my small is going to be positive. Okay? So what multiplies to 18? 3 and 6. And then the large has to be negative 2 and 9 and negative 9. And don't forget the 1, right? Because sometimes people get stuck on this part because they forget that there is the 1 and negative 18, and usually sometimes it ends up being that. Okay? So in this case, 3 and negative 6, they add to negative 3, so that's not it. Right? 2 and negative 9 is negative 7. Okay? So my factors are 2 and negative 9. Right? So I would write it as x plus 2, x minus 9, and that is my final answer. If you want to check if your work is correct, what do? Foil, expand. Okay? So you're going to foil it, and then see if you get what you started with, if you're not sure about your answer. Are we okay with this? This is a lot of information, guys. Like, don't you think this is easy? Like, this is a lot of information. If you want me to repeat or do another example, I'll be happy to.
Yeah, for sure.
Do another one? Yeah. Pick one.
Whatever you want. The harder one.
So they're all. I can do F. F. Okay. So I'm looking for two numbers. They multiply to what and add to what?
Which one is yours?
F. Multiply to 22. Okay. And add to
13. Negative 13.
negative. So let's first start, yes. So let's first start with what are the signs, right? Because they multiply to a positive number and they add to a negative number, right? So that means I'm looking at two negatives, right? Because B is negative and C is positive. Okay? So two negative numbers multiplied to 22, I only have two options. 1 and 22 and 2 and 11. Which one works? So this is my, and that would be y equal x minus 2, x minus 11. Okay? We're good? Perfect. Okay, so now you have up to page 7 to finish for homework. We're going to have a quiz on Monday. Okay? And the quiz is going to be on everything we learned in this unit up to today.